What is up, YouTube? I hope you are having a wonderful day today. This video is going to be talking about building a soundproof door, but more specifically, 3 things that I wish I had done differently when building my soundproof door. So if you haven't already, definitely check out my comprehensive soundproof door instructional video below in the description. Also, before we jump in, I just want to let you know that I have a free soundproofing course also below in the description. If you want to take a deeper dive into soundproofing, this is the resource for you. So definitely check out that link below. All right, without further ado, let's jump into the video. When I built my studio, I had read this book from cover to cover, which I still highly recommend. And it's called Build It Like the Pros, Home Recording Studio by Rod Gervais. And this is a great book. It's like the Bible for soundproofing. And it's complicated and kind of in-depth and is a very heavy read, but it is still a great resource for building your door. However, there were some things that I did in this book that I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing in your own studio door construction. So number 1, what I wish I had done differently is I wish I had created what I call an airlock system, or having a vestibule on the outside of my studio. So as you can see here, my studio is an outdoor studio. It's in my backyard, and there's really no other structure around it. So you just walk straight into the studio from the outside, which is awesome. I love it. I highly recommend it. The only thing is that to get that extra layer of soundproofing, it would have been awesome to have a little entryway built out in front of that door that enters into the studio. So as you can see on the plans here, there's like a little square rectangular entryway that you could come in, put your shoes in the cubby hold, or hang your coat on a hook. And also I was thinking that I could have my ventilation system in there and then pump fresh air in and out of that room, which would have been really cool, and put the ERV in there. Again, if you want to talk about ventilation, I have a full ventilation video as well in the notes below, so definitely check that out. But like I said, it would have been really nice to have that extra space. You could have even built a bathroom off of that as well if you wanted to, and then your bathroom wouldn't be connected to your studio and all this great stuff. So the other benefit of having this airlock system or vestibule is that you create a double door system. So you no longer necessarily need to have what I built, which was this super massive heavy door. It was really expensive. You can actually build just a single solid core door entering into the studio, and then another solid core door entering into your airlock vestibule area entryway. That said, you would have the double wall system just like you would do in any other studio. So you're gonna have the 1-inch air gap, the inside framing, and the 2 layers of drywall, and that will still give you that strong, very isolated room in your airlock, which is important because you don't want sound coming into that airlock system and then going into your door. So like I said, this would cost more money than what I originally did. It would be more construction, but I think it would have been totally well worth it just to have a very clean and rock solid design. So if you're doing a soundproof studio in your backyard, or even in a basement or a garage, if you can incorporate some sort of airlock system where you have 2 doors and then that airlock seals it in, I would highly recommend that. The second thing that we learned when building the soundproof door is that Rod Gervais in his book recommends using the specific trunk rubber. It's like GM trunk rubber or something like that. I had to like search deep on the internet to find this trunk rubber. Ordered it from like Oregon or something. It shipped, we got it, and we were like, okay, this stuff is cool. We put it on around the door just like he had described in his design, and we found that the trunk rubber was so stiff that the door kind of like bounced off of it and didn't quite create the tight seal that we had hoped for. So instead we decided to just go down to Home Depot or Lowe's or any big box store, hardware store, and we found some weather stripping called Frost King. And this comes in various sizes. We used, I think, the 3/4 inch Frost King around most of the edge of our door. And this worked great because it was a lot softer, and the door just kind of gently presses up against that Frost King and creates a perfectly airtight seal. And we used that around the inside of the door as well, but we used some smaller amounts. I think this was like 1/4 of an inch rounded Frost King or some sort of weather stripping that we used on the inside. We kind of got creative here because you really need to look and see if you have air gaps and then try to fill it in accordingly with your weather stripping. So that is also what I would recommend. Do not use the trunk rubber. It's not really worth it. Just go down to your hardware store and get some different sizes of weather stripping and start experimenting with sealing it up. Lastly, what I would recommend doing if you're building this super heavy door, so this is not if you're doing a communicating door system or if you're even doing the airlock system, you won't have to worry about this. But if you are building the super heavy massive door, which again, I have a link to how to build that door more in depth in the YouTube video description below, but you are going to have this issue where you're going to need to have a larger back set. So I didn't know what this word back set meant when I was building the door, but it's a construction term that refers to the distance from the edge of the door to the center of your door handle. And most back sets for traditional houses and hardware are a little bit too small. They're about, I think about 2.5 to 3 inches in length, which makes it so your door handle kind of can't go far enough in on the super heavy massive door. We want to do what is known as a 5-inch back set. And the 5-inch back set will allow your door handle to be far enough over on the door from the edge of the door, like I said before, so that you can now seal all the way down your door. So now if we take a closer look at what I'm talking about with my door, we had to cut in to the plywood and the lead that was on the back of the door, sacrificing that solid seal. We actually used some little foam pads and kind of sealed it in the best we could, but it would have been great to have a continuous seal along the door. If we had used the 5-inch back set and moved the door handle over, we would have gotten that. So those are the 3 things I wish I had done differently when soundproofing my door. I wish we had created the airlock system. I think it would have been well worth the money, and it would have added to the soundproofing of the door and added more space and storage and things like that. I wish that we had used weather stripping from Home Depot just down the street rather than having to spend all this time and money ordering the special trunk rubber, so don't do that. And third, I wish that we had bought the 5-inch back set so that our hardware could have been moved over enough so that we could have had that continuous seal along the side of our door. So I hope this video was helpful for those of you who have already watched how to build a soundproof door in some of my other videos. This is a little more advanced. We didn't go super in-depth into how to soundproof a door or how to soundproof a room. Again, if you're interested in doing that, definitely check out the free soundproofing course I have below. And I wish you happy soundproofing and all the best in your home studio journey. Until next week, we have new videos every Monday, so definitely subscribe, hit the bell, like it, and let me know if you have any questions about soundproofing whatsoever in the comments below. I will see you all next week.